Why seek a diagnosis if you have survived into adulthood without that label? I've seen that question asked in groups related to autism, ADHD, mental illnesses, and something occurred to me today on this. So first of all, I'm not formally diagnosed, but last month my therapist, who has extra education in autism, shared that they believe me to be autistic. We went through the diagnostic criteria, etc. So I'm slightly misusing the word diagnosis because I'm not diagnosed, but I don't know what else to call that, I guess. Anyway, what is the function of that? An example from today. I have always been a cheap person. And so when buying meat, it is usually much cheaper to buy a family pack of meat rather than like 1 pound of something. And so for things like ground beef and chicken that we use pretty routinely, it makes more sense to buy a family pack and split it up at home into freezer bags than to buy like 3 or 5 1-pound packs. However, I have always, every time that we are low on meat and consider purchasing more, I debate this because when you buy 1 pound at a time, then you don't have to portion it out. You don't have to touch it until you're cooking it. And just today, it occurred to me that the reason I debate that, whether I can or should purchase individual pounds or a family pack, and the reason why when we get groceries, I often delay portioning out the family packs for a day or two, is because I am so resistant to touch the meat and portion it out. It's a sensory thing. I don't like the feeling on my fingers. Today, for the first time, it occurred to me, first of all, this is a sensory thing, and 2, I could buy gloves and accommodate myself. Now, did I need my therapist to tell me last month that they believe me to be autistic for me to be able to have that realization and to look up food safe gloves and realize I can get over 100 pairs of them for less than $2? No, I should or could have theoretically come to that realization independently, but for some reason I didn't. And I think that is pretty common. And I think it comes from, if you don't have either an actual diagnosis or some amount of evidence that makes it feel like you have a credible way of saying, I'm pretty sure this is what's going on with me, then I think a lot of us keep trying to not see what is different about us. We keep trying to kind of perform neurotypicalness, normalness, healthiness, instead of looking at what's actually there and what we really have going on and what would really help us. Even when it's something as simple as buying, I think it's $1.62 food safe gloves. Because most people, at least that I know, don't buy gloves to portion meat. And it's occurring to me as I'm making this video, we divide chores in my household, but I've always just put away the food. And so I also could ask my husband to divide the meat, but that also would require feeling like I had some reason to not want to do it or some reason to, and I couldn't even let myself see that there was a reason there. And it's a small thing, but also I think there are a lot of small things with a lot of diagnoses.